The ECN commissioned experts from countries like Kenya and Ghana to conduct a comparative study of administrative independence from the state. The commissioners argued that the Commission's autonomy is provided for under Article 94B and further supported by the Electoral Act. The intention is to fully operationalize the functions of the electoral body and have it declassified as an agency of government.
Therefore, this report is looking at implementing what has already been passed by the legislature in the constitutional amendment of 2014. So we are not introducing a new concept, we're not introducing a new principle. What we as the Electoral Commission of Namibia seek to do is to implement the supreme law and the constitutional provision which provides for the independence of the institution. Independence is really looking at being a self-governing institution within the state structure, not to operate as an isolated institution that does not cooperate with state structures, but to cooperate within the state structure as an autonomous and independent institution.
The Electoral Commission says it has been operating without any influence from the central government or political actors since its establishment.
So I'm very glad that the chairperson was very explicit in saying there was no interference whatsoever. About 2 times or so she mentioned that. So it would look like you are coming here because there was interference. I wanted to ask this young man, did I ever meet you one-on-one to talk?
No.
I don't know him. He has been in charge. So if interference is there, he would have been called and say, what are you doing, and so on. So we shouldn't create a problem where there is no problem. All we are saying is that you want to move on, maybe, while you are enjoying that independence, to maybe perfect it, to have power to hire people. We have to be careful about that hiring. It's a problem everywhere. So if it is a question of hiring people, buying their cars and so on, well, go and do it. But definitely, there is no way government has been interfering. Yes, as you clearly put it.
The Commission's request, if considered, would also lessen bureaucracy in terms of procurement of electoral material and the Commission's other needs. The ECN chairperson says the current Procurement Act does not provide for any input from the ECN and must be reviewed.
So I think this is some of the issues that we have an issue with, that at the end of the day, we have the we have the responsibility to answer to any procurement issues when there are problems. But in terms of the Procurement Act, we cannot do that. So there should be a procurement unit. We feel there should be a procurement unit there. But at the end of the day, the Commission should have a say in important procurement issues.
Government, though, maintains that establishing a separate institution would prove difficult.
We do understand, of course, and we are hoping that what is sought to be seen, to be implemented here is autonomy in terms of independence to carry out the mandate of those watchdog institutions. It does not necessarily have to result in fragmentation of systems unnecessarily and the escalation of costs that would usually follow with that. It should also not compromise accountability because at the end of the day, even where you have the organs of the state that are autonomous from one another, the accountability of each of these organs is safeguarded because that is critical for law and order.
I believe it will be difficult to have a separate system for a state institution because every state institution, including parliament, the judiciary, it's part of that whole system. So to have a separate system, I don't think it's going to work. So let's understand where the constraints are.
I don't know now to say we need to come with another leg or whatever, I don't know. similar to South Africa, under Chapter 9 of South African Constitution, which provides that. I don't know whether that institution is from heaven, because in terms of the Constitution, there are 3 arms of the state only.
The experts' recommendations, the ECN says, are subject to further discussions and, if implemented, would be according to the country's specific setup. Blanche Koreses, NBC News, State House.